Welcome back to the Joe Rogan Experience. Tonight, relax and enjoy some of the most fascinating and mind-bending stories from the podcast, the kind that'll make you think, then help you drift off to sleep.
What is your perspective after the incident versus before the incident? Like, how much did it change the way you view the world and our place in the world?
For me, I never believed that we were alone. It's just me. I just look up and go, there's way too many stars up there for us to be in one life. After it, it makes it a little more clear to go, one, my questions are, where'd it come from? That's the biggest one. Where'd it come from? What was it doing? And then I've asked, why me? I mean, why did I happen to be, because you can say wrong place, wrong time.
Right. Or right place, right time.
Or right place, right time. For me, it was, I think there's more out there. And if I could get word out to anyone, it's like, especially the debunkers of, one, quit trying to debunk it because it is what it is. There wasn't a system glitch. This was a real incident that happened. And number two is let's open our aperture a little bit and start thinking outside of the box. If you go, you look at it and go, hey, it's this non-reactive propulsion. Well, it's because when we came up with propulsion, we the people long before us came up with a reactionary propulsion system, and that became our standard. Had we done something different or we developed non-reaction, we might look at something like a gasoline engine and go, holy cow, how's that thing work?
Right.
We wouldn't have that idea. So, I think there's, if you look at it and go, people thought Einstein was kind of nuts, and we're still proving his theories today. And what we're learning is that he was right. And he was right. There was a time when the Earth was flat, except for some people in California. The Earth isn't flat; it's round.
It's not just people in California; they're all over the place.
There's not an ice wall.
Right.
So when you look at that and you go, a lot of the stuff that we thought was true isn't true. It's totally been changed. So for me, I just say, I think let's get outside of the box and go. If we can develop a technology that would, and I don't look at it from a military standpoint, because it would be a game changer from a military standpoint. Technology like that would be a game changer for mankind, completely. And it would literally, everything that we do, and we don't know exactly, you could, do you want that system in a car? People have trouble driving in 2 dimensions, let alone 3.
Right.
It's kind of like your joke last night. I mean, you can't even handle the vaping thing, let alone driving a car that goes up, down, works in 3 dimensions.
Well, that was what they originally wanted helicopters to be. They wanted to be flying cars.
Yeah, if you get out on the road, you see how people drive. And I always laugh because people think, well, we're 3-dimensional. Like, we know that this table is not the floor, but really humans are 2-dimensional people. And you learn that, especially when we would fight. If you can really work in the 3rd dimension, which is up, and you go, well, we are 3-dimensional. I go, no, if you look at like a tall building is, 1,700 feet high, the big ones. And you go, no. For an F-18 to do a split S, which is go from up here and just do a vertical 180-degree turn, so you're going this way and you go down here. It's like 2,500 feet. And that's tight. That's a tight turn for a jet, unless you're running like vectored thrust stuff. But everything has a cost. So if you do some big Hayaka, you bleed off energy. There's a cost associated with that. That, to a pilot, that's 3 dimensions. To most people on Earth, you go, no, I look at a hill and go, I don't want to walk up that thing.
Right.
And in an airplane, it's a totally different thing. So if we just open up that expanse, for what we're trying to do for technology and go, is there another way? Because we still build suckers and blowers, which is a jet engine. Mm-hmm. We just refine the internals, the turbines, to get them to be more efficient. Where I go, why don't you just put your efforts someplace else? Like I was talking to, there's a whole realm of physics that really doesn't get explained, and it's. I was talking to Steve Justice about it. It's more into the magnetics type side that we don't spend a lot of time on. And I know he said when he was working at Skunk Works, he did it's called IRAD, Internal Research and Development money, that he would fund to try and look at some of these other technologies for propulsion. And he's now since retired, but really impressive to talk to him. At the level that you can, which is, for us would be an unclassified level. But, the stuff that goes on behind closed doors, there's reasons for it, because if a technology like that got out where someone could rapidly reproduce it after all you've done, or they got it first, if you think of the atomic bomb, Germans almost had it. We got it. Russians were working on it. We got it first. Changed the world. literally changed the world when we detonated the first one. And you go, I'm not going to get into the politics behind it, but now we had it, and now it was the race everyone else because they had to get on equal par because it's a destabilizing thing. And now all of a sudden, if you develop a technology like this and you keep it to yourself, you've got something that no one else has, and it's a huge leap. I mean, it's a quantum leap. Do you share it because it's a mankind thing, or do you keep it for yourself? And that's right now. It's not for me to decide. I'm just Dave.
Well, it's fascinating that some other method of propulsion could have been established in some other place.
Yeah.
And that we're experiencing it, or that you've experienced it, and some other folks have experienced it in action. And I just think for us as people, as human beings in 2019, it's really easy to think that what we have now is so amazing, and that what we have now is the pinnacle of discovery, and that what we have now is, with our electricity and with our LED screens, and that we are experiencing like the height of technology. When if you're some creature from some other planet that is got easy access to element 115 and some gravity propulsion system, you're looking at us like we're digging holes in the side of a mountain to protect ourselves from the rain. We're cave people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do that here on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like a first world, like the United States,
Sure.
or the developed nations, and then you go to some of these other and go, people are still getting their water out of a hole in the ground with a bucket.
Right, or people in the rainforest that are living these indigenous lifestyles. Yeah.
So, take them something. I mean, take them one of these flat screens down to one of these tribes that no one's ever seen, and go, hey, look.
Yeah.
And start showing them pictures of themselves that you're shooting real time, or video that's feeding directly into it. They'll freak out.
They'll think it's
like,
magic.
Would you capture my soul?
Right.
So it's where are we at, and what are we going to do, and what can we do?
Did it change the way you look at life? I mean, even though you knew that, or you had this feeling that we were not alone just from looking at the stars, but when you actually see the thing, like I would imagine that has got to really shift your perspective.
I don't know if it shifted my perspective, but it was more of it's a validation.
A confirmation.
You go, yeah, I've always there's a lot of stars. And then you see something like this and go, well, maybe we're not. Because that pushes you to the next point to go, if one lands in my front yard, then I'll be 100% sure that we are not alone because it's sitting in my front yard. But, I mean, I got within a half mile of this thing, which is... People go, well, a half mile is pretty far away. Again, not when you're flying an airplane. A half mile is like really tight.
When they bring you in to have these conversations with high-level government officials, how long are these conversations?
So I went to I've talked to 3 different groups of people.
This is post the New York Times article? So the New York Times article comes out in 2017.
Yes.
And then our government.
The other pilot that was involved had been to D.C. multiple times. This is how I got in touch with Lou. She had called me and said, hey, I need to talk to you. So I called her and I said, what's going on? She says, hey, has anyone called you about the Tic Tac? And I said, no. She goes, I've been to the Pentagon like a half dozen times, and they'll take me in and anywhere from Starbucks to, inside of a vault. And she goes, and they'll talk to me about the story, and then they'll show me a picture. Something goes to look like this. And then she gets pretty frustrated and goes, we call it the Tic Tac because it looked like a Tic Tac. What part don't you get? I mean, go get a thing of Tic Tacs and look at them.
When they're saying, did it look like this, are they showing actual crafts that they have? No,
not pictures that they have, but like a video from someone else. Like they'd show the gimbal video. Hey, did it look like this?
Okay.
And it was no. So, and that's when I told her, I said, well, just tell this guy that you're talking to, just give him my name and number. I go, I'll talk to him. It's not a big deal to me. And that started. So when I got asked, multiple times to go down and talk to people. One of them was supposed to be 20 minutes, and these are important people. Getting 20 minutes of some of these folks' time is that's a huge deal. So we went in thinking, okay, we're going to do the thing, 20 minutes, and then we're in, and an hour and a half later, we came out. I mean, that's the interest of, and there were some, you get the group, the folks that come in and out, but there's a few that just sat there and were enamored by what we were saying, like you're joking. We're like, no, this is all real. I mean, these are pretty senior officials that are taking the time out of their day to take this serious, to go, maybe we do need to put a little emphasis on this. I mean, if something can just show up at will and do whatever it wants, and I'd probably at least pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention. But what could be done? I mean, what could they do? If you put yourself in a position of one of these high-level government officials, what do you do? Just spend more money on looking at them?
Well, if you look at money, though, I mean, I know when the article came out and they talked about the ATIP program that Harry Reid got funded $22 million over 5 years. So it's $4.4 million a year. And you go, everyone's freaking out. Oh, it's $22 million. I go, no, it wasn't $22 million a year. It was $4.4 million. That's not even in the rounding error for the United States. We just got approved, it was $750 billion for a defense budget. $750 billion. If you took $100 million out of that, it's not even going to put a dent. And I go, why can't you? If you're only spending $4.4 million a year, and you can actually get some good work done, because you don't need a huge team, because you figure if you look at, I think what's the number, like 10-15% of all these UFOs, like if you look at Project Blue Book, really remained unexplained. And you go, okay, so you can weed out, you can read out me flying over someone in a campfire and lighting my afterburners. So you can go, no, that was Dave being Dave. So you can weed that stuff out. Now you go, now I'm really kind of concentrating the funds. The most important thing, and I talked to the folks when we were talking, because we talked about funding, and I said, let me leave you with this. And I had got some pretty good stuff. I was talking to Chris Mellon, who's a former undersecretary and understands how the government works. So it was where he gave me some really good feedback. And I talked to him. I said, look, I'm all for you guys funding a program. But what you need to do is fund a program that there's going to be oversight over. When I say oversight, I mean, because what happens is you go, here's money, but we're going to distribute it in the government. So we're going to distribute it to these 3 different agencies across the United States government. So, I don't just call them agency A, B, and C. So you give it to them, and I'll go back to like the 9/11 stuff where we really had the answer, but all the agencies weren't talking to each other to put all the pieces together. And that's my fear, that you go, hey, we're going to take $100 million of taxpayer money. We're going to fund a program to actually seriously investigate this stuff and look at the technology. But there are 3 different entities working on their own and not talking to each other. So there's got to be a joint collaboration to where we go, we're going to do it, but, Joe's going to be in charge, and you guys are all going to play nice in the sandbox together because we want to get our money's worth, because people will raise the fraud, waste, and abuse flag that we're wasting money on something stupid.
Aykroyd's crazy into UFOs. He's like one of the main celebrities they pull up when people start talking about like UFO real believers. He's done like little clips where he narrates things, UFO shows and shit. He fucking believes.
Well, didn't they just release that there's even more belief now about UFOs?
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know if it's real, but it's fun. That's how I feel.
Doug, I did a podcast with Jim Florentine, and I explained to Jim Florentine that what people don't know is that Hudson County, New Jersey, northern New Jersey, is the number 1 place in the country where they have the most UFO sightings.
Really? Northern New Jersey.
Look it up, Jamie, if you get a minute, please, not to be rude.
But isn't that like near a couple airports?
No, it's closer to like like when you live in New York City and you look at the Hudson River. They say that people go on their balcony, they're drinking coffee, they're talking on the phone, and they'll see a little flying saucer go by.
Really?
And I know for a fact that in 1976...
A little one?
Whatever the fuck they are. I know for a fact that in 1975 and 1976, you could check me out on this, a UFO landed in Hudson County Park. I was a kid, and the next day the feds locked off the park. They had yellow tape. They had samples. Go look it up, dog. There's a UFO. You see that's called, North Bergen is where I'm from. That's called, I forget what it's called, but it's a circular building. So they did so much coke in there in the 80s, they called it the grinder. That's what they called it, because it was shaped like the Stonehenge. The Stonehenge. I have a couple friends that lived there. People that lived in that building have seen UFOs for fucking years. And if you go to YouTube, there's an actual North Hudson Park UFO. Wow. They dug up, they came out to there's a liquor store. And the liquor store guy says he's seen the lights. You heard like the organ music that they play. They landed. A couple Martians got out and took samples and got back in the thing and took off. There's a YouTube thing. There's a History Channel special about it. And I still remember being a young kid.
Did you find anything, Jamie?
That was what's popping up, all that stuff about that building and
no.
Is there anything that says a UFO landed?
That's the story I'm reading right now is what he's saying, yeah.
And witnesses, it's not just one guy that says, I know UFO. It's people who got knocked on the door and said, did you see anything at 11:10 at night? And they said, you know what? There were lights flashing outside. They contacted police departments to see if there was any. They went full. Then the FBI came in, circled the park. It was by the Little League field in Hudson County. But it is, like you'd think it was Area 51. You'd think it was close to northern Las Vegas. The number one place to see UFOs is northern New Jersey. They even made a reference to it in The Sopranos. When he said something, he goes, "What are you talking about? Last week you said you seen a UFO in Hackensack." Because that's where they're at. Hackensack, Moonachie.
Right.
All those. You ever go to Moonachie, New Jersey? A lot of ugly people. A lot of people with big heads. The only good thing in Moonachie, New Jersey is fucking Segovia, Spanish restaurant. It's been there since 19 fucking Schlemensky. I don't know. But that's the only good thing about Moonachie. I think those people in Moonachie have been abducted. There you go. And they put them back as big-headed motherfuckers.
I did a gig there a couple times.
Oh, yeah. There used to be like a bar. There's a bar that did something in Moonachie.
Was that a Bob Gonzo gig?
Yes, outside the Sea Caucus.
Was it?
Yeah, it's outside. No. I think Bob is more down the shore and
he
stuff.
He had gigs all over the place.
He had gigs all over, Bob. How I met Bob was he did a gig in Romano's Italian restaurant in my hometown. And my buddy's like, "Hey, aren't you a comedian? Let's take you up there." And we went up there, and Bob's like, "I don't know him." He's an unknown. And next thing Bob came up to me, he's like, "Dog, I got to put you up because my friends threatened me." So Bob put me up, and we've become friends ever since.
That's awesome.
I think I follow him on Facebook. We have a chat from time to time on Facebook. But yeah, for you UFO motherfuckers, look into northern New Jersey. That's the fucking motherload of them.
That's interesting. I had read that before, but I kind of
There you go, 51.
51 UFO sightings in 2018. You get biased because the story is always some person in the woods and they get abducted. They see a UFO in some strange town in the middle of nowhere. The aliens land and abduct people. You always think about it being a rural thing. But if I was an alien, of course I'd go to New York City. Of course I'd go to New Jersey. What the fuck? Why wouldn't you? You want to go see the craziest thing we have? You got like 7 million people stuffed together on a fucking tiny island in comparison to the rest of the planet. Stuff stacked on top of each other. Awesome, amazing buildings. All these lights at Times Square. Look at all these people mulling around, traveling over these bridges to get to this one hub, this one hive of humanity. Of course, if I was an alien, I would check that out. Why would I look at a barn? You know what I mean?
You used to have a joke that the United States is the Tijuana
of outer space.
Space. Like they're like, what are we doing this weekend? We're going to fucking...
They come down when they're fucked up and they want to see a show.
They want to see a show.
That was the whole bit, is that I think aliens come here when they're high. They just get fucked up. They're like, come on, let's go check out the monkeys. Let's go, dude. Come on, let's abduct a couple of them. Have a good time. Let's go see the monkey people.
I never saw a fucking UFO.
I want to. I never have, though.
I want to see it land, and I want to see one of those green dudes get out. So I
think I thought I saw some shit when I was a kid, but as I got older, I thought that was like a fighter jet or something. That's what that was. Like there was something. God, it's a real sketchy memory. It's one of those memories that's like barely active. But I remember thinking for like a day or two when I was like a little kid, maybe I saw a UFO. But I think I was trying to convince myself of it. I was bored. But I think it was a jet. I think it was something fast and unusual. Have you ever seen one of those stealth bombers? That looks like a fucking UFO. Have you ever seen one of those things in the sky?
No, yes.
It looks like a Star Wars
Like when
movie.
you go to like a Blue Angels fucking thing, those planes.
Yeah, they're probably...
use?
No, those are like... I think those are FA-18s. That's what I think it is. I think that's what that is. I flew in one of those. I had a bit about that too. Yeah, you got to do that. You hold on to the hand. You got to do it. You hook. You either hold on to your handle if you're steering the plane, or you hold on to your straps if you're a passenger. I was in the passenger seat, so I grabbed a hold of my straps, and you have to go like this, hoot, 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 and you have to force blood into your brain to stay awake. That's how much G-force you're going through. It's insane.
Force blood into your brain to stay awake.
See, that's one of those stealth bombers. I saw one of those in the air over, I guess it's Edwards Air Force Base. Is that what the one it is? Is Edwards the one that's out near Palmdale? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Because we used to film Fear Factor in Palmdale, and we saw that thing fly overhead like that. Look at that thing. Tell me that doesn't look like it's from another planet. When you're on the ground and you see that fly overhead, you're like, what the fuck is that? So I think that's responsible for a bunch of the things that people saw. I think it's military crafts.
Can I ask you a question on that article you pulled up, the 51 sightings? What type of sightings do you
Look
have?
at this fucking thing.
What is considered a sighting?
Well, the thing is, like, you just see shit. But how do you know if... What are you doing, Jim?
These are the sightings.
Okay, but go back to that video. Look at that thing. I mean, come on. If you're just sitting on the ground, you saw that, you're like, they're coming! The aliens are coming! That does not look like it's from this world. That thing is madness.
Especially with those two guys next to him.
God, it's fucking beautiful, though. Like, what an amazing design. That thing flying through, it looks like something on a keyboard. You know, it looks like a symbol on a keyboard. And it's just flying perfectly through the air. That looks like the future. I mean, that really does look like it's from another world. I would imagine, like, little blue dudes with black eyes and talking to each other in that thing. Going through fucking wormholes and shit. I mean, that's what that thing looks like. And what's the thing that they're going to have 100 years from now? Just imagine that.
Yeah, I just want to know what the logistics is for it to be considered a legitimate sighting.
Legitimate sighting?
Legitimate sighting.
It just means that someone saw it. You know, you don't, like, if you're a lawyer, okay, and you see something, and then you convince yourself that what you saw was something extraordinary, and you have the feeling that you're looking at something from another world. But if it's just some drone or some military vehicle, and then you look at it, and then you convince yourself, then it becomes a bigger and bigger deal in your head. That's a problem with people. It doesn't mean that everybody that sees something is seeing that, but people are kind of full of shit.
Well, let's say there's a 1-800 call Martian. Mm-hmm. All right. I see a fucking thing. I call that thing.
1-800 call Martian.
Yeah, call Martian. Okay, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
1-800 Martian.
Right.
The phone won't stop ringing. Okay, the phone won't stop ringing. It will never stop ringing.
There'll be people talking to Martians.
My concern is, when do they consider it credible? What does it take for it to be credible? For it to be credible, I got to see the motherfucker land and get out.
My take is usually military guys. When you have military fighter pilots, that's an extraordinary human. If you can be one of those guys that flies one of those B-2s, for them to trust you with that $1 billion fucking spaceship, dude, you got to be an exceptional human. There's no room for someone who's full of shit. You're going to be a top flight fighter pilot. You're going to fly around with gunfights in the sky, because that's what they do. They have gunfights in the fucking sky. Those guys are exceptional human beings. So when they see something, that's when I listen, for sure. Everybody else, I'm not that I wouldn't listen, but I don't know. You know, you might be crazy. But you might be crazy even if you're in the military. You might be crazy if you're a fighter pilot. It's 100% possible.
So those fighter pilots and all those Air Force pilots that do test runs or whatever, they say that they see things?
There's a bunch of sightings. Not only a bunch of sightings, there's a bunch of sightings from these really credible guys. What is this? Fleet of UFOs followed U.S. aircraft Navy pilot says.
Yeah,
May
this is
29th.
what I'm talking about.
See, these guys that are talking about these things, these aren't guys with histories of embellishing things. They have this, whatever that is. Is that radar? What are they looking at? Is that infrared? Like, what is that screen that they're looking for? Does it say what kind of image it is? Because it's like a weird look. It's not like a photograph, right? It's like a weird computer image. Because it's detecting it, right, with some piece of equipment, right? Isn't it? Like tracking it on radar or something like that?
I know what you're saying, because I feel like I've heard that description of it too, but this article just says it's video of 2 aerial encounters.
That's tremendous.
But that video doesn't look very clear. Why isn't it clear? My phone does a better job than that shit.
They don't have very good cameras on those.
Cameras,
they have good cameras. I mean, they don't have good ones, but like in order to catch movement at that high speed up there, yada, yada, all that stuff.
Oh, so it would require some exceptional gear.
I think. And it could have also been at night. I don't know what time of day it was.
So convenient. So convenient that they never have a clear picture. That drives me fucking crazy. It drives me fucking crazy, because if it is real, I want it to be real. Honestly. I really do. But when I look at it, I go, God damn, so many people are so crazy and so many people are so full of shit.
You personally believe, and so do I,
dun, dun, dun.
that there's other galaxies out there. There has to be.
Well, there definitely are the galaxies, other civilizations.
Other civilizations.
Yeah.
Some form, somewhere. Out of the 9 planets, there's got to be
Dude, there was
something. I don't know what. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what they're called or whatever, but there has to be something. At this point, you have to believe that.
The universe is too big. It's just too big to discount, to say, nope, I doubt it. Like, that's so crazy to say. Just because we haven't seen it yet, it's so big. Okay. He said that though tracking equipment, radar, and infrared cameras on his aircraft detected UFOs both times, he was unable to capture them on his helmet camera. Okay.
So maybe he couldn't look at it, get it in good vision or whatever. I don't
Maybe.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's a good reason why he.
I would imagine as fast as those goddamn things are going, it must be really hard to get a
See what
camera
he
to be able
just
to
says
constantly
there?
focus in and out. And
That's interesting. He says that Lieutenant Ryan Grimes,
Graves,
whatever, a squadron of UFOs followed his Navy strike group up and down the eastern coast of the U.S. for months. I'm telling you, that little fucking. I read something about the Hudson River, that all those people that live across the Hudson River, whether on the Weehawken Edgewater side or the west side of Manhattan, those are where the people on their balconies see all that shit.
Look at this shit. We did have issues with them when we went to the Middle East, Lieutenant Graves said. Imagine them following the war. Imagine if they were aliens and they came down to follow the war. So they see the war going on in Iraq,
How crazy is
Afghanistan. They come down and they're checking it out.
Just to go on the cynical side of this, they're not necessarily saying they are an alien ship. They're saying it's a UFO, so it's something they're not sure of. What if it's some sort of awesome drone that some Middle Eastern company has and it can just follow shit or move faster or something?
Sure.
I don't know.
That would be the more likely explanation, right? Yeah. Terrestrial would be more likely that someone has advanced shit. We know they have advanced shit. I mean, we know they have incredible drones. You know, I mean, the stuff that they can do.
So, Larry, they got drones. That Green Berets or SEALs, you put razor blades on them, and they slit your fucking throat when you're driving.
Whoa.
That's how good the technology is on those drones.
Jesus Christ. I wouldn't be shocked if they could do all kinds of things that we can't
You could be
expect.
standing there, and they could take the drone to just come down, and fucking, they put razor blades on them or some shit.
Well, you could totally see someone having a small drone, like a small thing, like the size of a cheeseburger, that has poison in it, and you just slam it into somebody. I could see that. But you're seeing, when you're seeing stuff that's flying around the sky, most likely is made by a person, because people make stuff, and people know how to make stuff that flies around the sky. But then when you get to shit that like defies physics, like some of the things these fighter pilots see, that's when you got to go, wait a minute. You see these extraordinary feats of traversing distances, like they can get from one place to another place so fast it looks like they disappear. This is something they all talk about. They all talk about the insane speed at which these things can go. They can just change angles. They can just go and then take a hard right angle turn. They can do stuff that nothing that we know how to make can do. That's where it gets to be like, whoa. Like nothing. It's not like it's like, oh, that's like a fighter jet, but like really fast. You know what I'm saying? It's like an alien car. Oh, it's like a car, but it's way faster. Like it's an alien car. But this is not like anything that we make. These fucking things, they fly this way. They say flat, like a plate hovering over the ground. But when they go to fly, when they go to take off, they flip up sideways, and they have like the bottom of the spaceship is pointing towards where it wants to go. And it does something to space and time, make some sort of fucking magnetic gravity connection, insert big spooky words, whatever. They don't know how the fuck it does it, right? This thing can go like insane distances in insanely small amounts of time. Then when they all report the same kind of behavior of these, I mean, so many of these reports are like that. They're talking about this thing that goes insanely fast, turns on its side. It looks like a Tic Tac. It looks like a saucer. It looks like they're trying to figure out what the fuck the shape is because it's moving so goddamn fast. But it's doing stuff that nothing we know how to make can do. I don't know if it's from another planet. It might be from here, but it's exciting. It's exciting shit. I want it to be from another planet. That's what I want, like unbiased, like what I would love it, just be completely honest, I would love it if it was aliens. But if it was people, I'd be even more scared. Because, wait, goddamn, people can do that? people can do that and no one knew. Like if you can imagine a person who can make a spaceship that defies all of the rules that we know about travel, about air travel. If they can make something that defies all that shit and somehow or another keep the whole development and production of it a secret and then have this thing and take it off and no one knows how the fuck they did it, that's almost more impressive than aliens. Because that's what these things are doing is if these pilots are accurately reading what's happening and they're telling the truth, the thing that's remarkable is their stories are very consistent. There's a lot of very similar stories from different people that they make a living flying super fast warships. They see things. They know what the fuck they're looking at. They see something they don't know. They're like, what in the fuck is that? When they see something like that, that freaks me out. That's when it gets me. Because when some fucking kid's riding his bike to school and he looks up and he sees a UFO, okay, maybe it did happen. Maybe it did happen. Maybe the kid's being 100% honest. Or maybe he was bored. Maybe he was bored and decided to make up a crazy story and stuck with it. And then after a while telling it, maybe he believed it himself. That happens too. People see things. They don't know what they're seeing. And they decide that it's a different thing. I've said this before, but it's a true story. When I was in Alberta, there's wolves there. And I thought I saw a wolf for like a whole second. It was a squirrel. It was a fucking squirrel. But I saw gray fur movement wolf squirrel. Like, if you're dumb or if you're compromised or if maybe you're a little drunk, maybe you're a little tired, maybe you just saw something that looked really weird because of, whatever weather conditions that are affecting some part of the world you live in. There's things called ball lightning, flies through the air. It looks like a UFO. You ever see that shit? It's like a real natural phenomenon. Somebody might see something like that and then add a bunch of other shit to it. And that's where you get a lot of these stories. You get like natural phenomenon and then people adding a bunch of shit to things. But then on top of that, you have credible stories. And you can't throw out any of them. Like it's when you look at all these things, you can't decide just because there's a bunch of crackpot stories about UFOs that the ones by legitimate fighter pilots, that those aren't real. You can't look at it that way. It's crazy to look at it that way because it's more likely there's something out there than there isn't something out there. It's way more likely.
When I was a kid and that happened in Hudson County Park, I wrote it off. I didn't even pay attention. I remember riding my bike up there, seeing the Fed tape and seeing people with those orange protective suits on.
Yeah.
And I was like, these people are fucking out of my mind. Then one night I got high 5 or 6 years ago and I saw it. Somebody had posted on Facebook or YouTube and I read more and more into it. And I discounted it until I read the accounts of the 28 people.
Yeah.
In that building, the liquor store, there was a guy who had just got dropped off a bus from New York. Because buses drop you off there from New York. Mm-hmm. The bus driver said there was a flash. He couldn't, there were just so many people with stories that, they didn't see a fucking guy get out. Only 3 people saw people get out. Mm. Everybody else discounted the lights and the noise and the other bullshit that went with it. I would have shit my fucking pants if I lived in that building and saw 3 little Martians get out. Or it could just be fucking who knows? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to tell you that's where
people can get freaked out, and they can they can think all kinds of things that didn't really happen.
Hey, one night I was on acid. I thought the FBI was out there with dogs. When I went out the next day, it was fucking a fire hydrant, all right? I dumped an ounce of Coke down the toilet.
Oh, my God.
Because I hallucinated. Because when you're doing Coke for more than fucking 10 hours, you start hallucinating. I started hallucinating. I thought it was fucking dogs and it was a fire hydrant. You know how stupid I felt the next day? Pretty fucking stupid. Pretty fucking stupid. I sat there and I went over and petted the hydrant. You fuck. You fuck.
This is a problem with any story, like all these fucking UFO stories. It's people's memory. Memory's not that good. It's just not that good. It's too hard to figure out what it actually looked like after you saw it. Like you see something crazy like a year ago, and then you try to describe it. It's too hard to describe. Like, you barely remember it. Your version of it is a rehashed version that you keep repeating to yourself. You know, if you saw something, like say if you were hiking and you saw a wolf, right? If you saw that wolf, when you try to describe that moment you saw that wolf years later, like what are you actually seeing when you're going into your memory? How accurate is it? We're always lying about how accurate our memory is. It's not that good. Like if you did see a wolf, which is an extraordinary moment, right? You're in the fucking forest. You're like, it's a fucking wolf. That's a wolf. And you see a real wolf looking down on you, a wild motherfucker in the woods of Canada, just looking at you, staring at you on a trail. Like, that's an extraordinary moment. But if you try to recount that in your mind 10 years later, what do you actually see? How much do you actually see? You see this blurry, weird, fucking misty version, and you got some words that fall into place that can describe it. But how accurate is your fucking memory? It's terrible.
How accurate is your memory?
It's good with statistics.
Okay.
Like, I can tell you about fights. I can tell you what year someone fought. I can tell you how this guy won and how he beat, this many guys with a triangle, and I remember things. But if I actually have to remember what it actually looked like in my head, I can't really pull that up. I barely can pull it up. I see it, I'll recognize it again. Like, you show me Joe Schilling knocking out Melvin Manhoef in Bellator. I watched that KO so many times. A wild, crazy slugfest. And if I see it, I'm watching it happen in a video. I remember it. Yep, this is how it goes. Here it goes. Boom! He KOs him. But if I had to just pull that out of my brain right now, it's not good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have to close my eyes and pretend I saw Mike Tyson knock out Michael Spinks, I kind of can see little flashes. I can kind of remember weird little parts of it. I remember the final right hand. Boom! He just sends him flying through the ropes. It was chaos. It was just like, he's the best ever. But if I had to play it back in my head, it wouldn't be nearly as good as a video of it. And if you're one of those people like me who, I've always loved the idea of UFOs, I became extremely weary talking to people who are UFO believers and UFO fanatics, because there's so many of them that are full of shit. And not just full of shit, they're childishly delirious. Like, the way they talk about things. I mean, there's so many people that I'm in contact. They reach me in the night and they explain to me what we're doing to the ocean is wrong. And okay.
This is one of the reasons I didn't want to do the show. I'm sure. It's no joke. We've had people literally camp out on our front lawn, and in some ways I can relate to some of these people. Maybe some of them did really have some kind of experience or saw something, and all their friends think they're crazy. But hey, now there's this guy I heard on the radio, and at least he knows I'm not full of shit, so I got to talk to him. Right. And so most of the correspondence I get are people trying to get a hold of me going, Bob, you got to listen to me. I'm coming to talk to you. I'm driving from Oklahoma or whatever, but some of them are just fucking batshit crazy, and they're frightening.
There's a lot of schizophrenics that are involved in the conspiracy world. So there's a lot of people that have real issues.
Joe, it would be a disservice to your audience to not say that we have to look at what's going on now and understand. I've heard on your show a bunch of stuff about what's going on now, and to not really understand what's going on now, you can't see Bob's story in the correct light after 30 years. And at some point we should just touch upon that. The biggest being that things like the Tic Tac UFO case that came out, I've heard people, even on the show, say, oh, there's a glitch in the radar. That's a data poor perspective. You just don't know yet what's really going on. Commander Fravor, I was able to get the interview with him to talk with him way before it became public. I got that from him. He saw it. Other pilots saw it. This is a big thing that's going on right now. They had more sightings on the East Coast recently, cubes with spherical ores. These are not aerodynamic, and these are the people we trust to defend us on 9/11. Commander Fravor protected Los Angeles on 9/11. So we trust them, but they're not trained observers. Radar, individuals see these things, and the big one, just to throw down so we can consider a story a little differently, there's more depth to it. The big one is the United States government has admitted that they have been continuously studying the UFO phenomenon. That program was called ATIP, was called OSAP. That's the mother program. George Knapp got that out. They announced through the New York Times about ATIP, but OSAP, these acronyms, OSAP, Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Applications Program. Who cares? That was the mother program. So they've admitted we didn't stop studying UFOs in 1969 with Project Blue Book. We don't think it's crazy. We actually want to reverse engineer the technology. That's why on your other show, you said, what's this AAV thing? It's like they're making up another UFO name. Well, hold on. There's a reason. Because in the documents, the DIA documents that George Knapp released, that everybody said was fake till now they know is real, they call them AAVs, which is Advanced Aerospace Vehicles. People are getting the acronyms wrong. So the reason for the terminology change is so that we can mimic what we're reading in the DIA documents. People can look for that now. So they changed the names to get people away from UFO or UAP, even like Hillary Clinton said on air, right? So
what are you talking about? Hillary Clinton said.
Hillary Clinton informed the public on Jimmy Kimmel, oh, Jimmy, we don't call them UFOs anymore. We call them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Right, so she kind of was giving. The Clintons are very into the UFO topic. Senator Reid, he's done a lot for the subject, the study of it. Right, so she informed the public so they could look for the right term. So these terms are important because the DIA in those documents, they've been calling them AAVs for quite some time now.
And they changed the name to anomalous.
No, that's kind of a misnomer.
No,
so they always mess around with things, but it's actually advanced.
Right, but when they're describing it in the news, they were calling it anomalous aerospace vehicles.
Totally, and that's cool. They were also saying anomalous aerospace threats, AAT, right? Because they want the sense of a threat.
Right.
So my point is, if people don't know this now and they think this stuff is fantasy, this part of it, that we're studying it, that we take it seriously, we're spending money on it, and that we're getting great data from visual pilots to radar. That's why we know it's aerospace. They dropped from 80,000 feet. But guess what? That's the top scope of the Spy 1 radar is 80,000 feet. So the radar system they were using, it was coming from above that. So my point is this. If you don't understand that this is happening, you're just behind the curve because you don't have the information because of the stigma that you're talking about. I saw you get totally upset with the UFO topic. I met you first when you were totally upset with the UFO topic. It's the people.
When
you're doing your
pull this microphone.
I'm sorry, man. When you're doing your show, the Joe Rogan Questions Everything, I could see how frustrating it is. Trust me, I have been frustrated to hell. Luckily, my mentor is George Knapp, and he's taught me the pitfalls as I went through it. My whole point in this rant right here is just that we have to now look at Bob's story, but knowing the facts, not someone saying it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a glitch. They're not. And so if you don't know that, you just don't have the information yet.
Well, not just that, knowing the facts as we know them in 2019, not in 1988. Now, the gimbal video shows a different kind of thing.
Yes.
How many different kinds of things are you aware of?
Well, those are ours. Two, if you look at the
gimbal.
Go Fast, it kind of looks like a Tic Tac. So you could say those two are the same. I think there's other stuff out there. And sometimes it's not that you got to look at where do you obtain the video. It's just like intelligence, and I'll use, because I know you got that picture of Pablo out there, and there was the guy, Tom Cruise made the movie about him. What's his name? Louisiana dude who was flying the drugs for Pablo in and out.
Barry Seal.
Hey, it was all great until Reagan posted that picture that they had the cameras inside the cargo plane, and then Pablo puts it together. The only place that picture came from is Barry Seal's airplane, and then now Barry Seal's a dead man. So you got to watch when you release, because you go, hey, we got this video, but it was taken someplace we probably weren't supposed to be. Or how did they get that video?
Right.
Like, I'll look, the video of the Tic Tac video, that thing first came out. It's kind of funny. The guy that was in my back seat had sent me an email, and this is about probably 2008, so I was retired. And he sent me this video. I say, Skippers, does this look familiar? And it was on strangeland.com, and not suitable for work. I'll just say that. But I look, and then next thing you know, it's on YouTube. So when I would tell this story to my friends, I'd send them the link to the YouTube video. And this is years before the New York Times article. And then when they did the unofficial official report, the video was taken down off of YouTube. And, it kind of puzzled me, like, why'd you take the video down? And I told the guys when they did the unofficial fish report, I said, what you really need to look at is how did this thing come off of a classified drive system on an aircraft carrier and end up on strangeland.com and YouTube? Because at the time, the videos were classified secret. And that's not because it was a UFO. It's the AT FLIR video. They did not want that released. So you'd see it on CNN. They blocked out all the performance stuff of what the airplane was actually doing. In this case, the one you see, it's 250 knots with the autopilot on, so it's not that big of a deal. But,
Jeremy, how many different types of vehicles are you aware of that have been reported?
Credible reports for decades, hundreds of different shapes. Even Lazar himself said he saw, 9 different styles, all working off the same propulsion system. The Tic Tac shaped, vehicle, that goes back in history. Some people say cigar shaped, big ships, small ships. They're all different kinds. I think it's important to state, though, there are other government-funded UFO programs. It's a misnomer, actually, that ATIP was the recipient of the $22 million. It was actually Harry Reid created a program called OSAP. OSAP was the sole beneficiary of that $22 million. New York Times got it wrong. And then what happened is ATIP was a different funded program to study military encounters with UFOs. OSAP was created because of Skinwalker Ranch, a government program to study UFOs and associated phenomenon. ATIP and OSAP communicated and shared information, but they were independently funded. So the $22 million was for OSAP, and then ATIP had its own sources, and then they did collaborate 2 UFO programs. There are more that I think we're going to learn about.
So the different shapes that Bob Lazar saw, there was 9 different shapes that he saw inside of the hangars.
9. Only one up close, yeah.
And none of them were like the Tic Tac.
Not specifically. However, that's not an uncommon. If you go back in history of like military sightings of craft going maybe over 20,000 miles an hour, the Tic Tac is a shape. They have triangles. They have ones that look like rectangles. The thing that is common with all of them is the non-reactionary propulsion system. I think even Commander Fravor said the thing noticed him, was words he first said to me, and kind of went towards him with its nose. But it could move in any direction, right? I mean, it could just move at will, however it wanted.
Yeah, it was, when we first saw it, it was just basically, it never turned. It was just going left, right, kind of doing this.
Shape
like
probably doesn't matter.
And then it became aware because it turned and it actually mirrored what I was doing. When I was coming down, it came up and, so it was obviously knew we were there. And I don't know if it was picking up, energy coming off the airplane or what. I do know that when they tried to lock it, it actively, it jammed a radar, made it pretty much useless. And, Chad was pretty good about kicking it over and grabbing that video. So it's pretty wild.
It's a big deal to actively jam a radar of ours,
Yeah. It's, whenever someone tells you an awesome story, it's great to hear. But God, I wish I saw it myself.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
you
this
got
thing. It's like you're telling me, and I'm like, wow. I'm listening. I'm trying to imagine. I'm putting it in my head. I'm visualizing it. But damn, I wish I could see it. Well, soon we're gonna have war in space, Rory. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news. Some
because of Elon
Air
Musk.
Force guy was saying that we have to prepare for the possibility of war in space. That this is an inevitable possibility, probably with drones.
Well, let me ask you this: what was your take on that UFO thing?
What is this,
So
Jamie?
space. This was a UK ad for a beer. It's all these astronauts in space.
They're
like,
in space drinking beer?
It's like Armageddon.
Wait, there's
kinda.
British astronauts? I had no idea. I had no idea.
Belong beer.
Wow,
Belong beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
that's cool. British astronauts. Remember that UFO thing that happened like 2 months ago? And,
Which one?
And they released, like the government was like, we have no idea what this object is, and you heard the pilot in the air like, what the fuck is that? Da, da, da.
I don't feel like I've
Yeah, like
seen
came
that.
across
Yeah,
that.
remember, like they're like the UFOs. It happened right after Tom DeLonge was on here.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was
right.
like-
Did we watch it? Did we watch the
And like
video?
the government literally confirmed that they don't know what it is, and it's a UFO, and it's doing things in the, and then everyone just stopped talking about it.
But wait a minute.
Like, but that could be.
I don't believe these things enough. I barely pay attention. They come
But
my
it was-
way, and
this
I shut
was
them
on
off.
like real news sites.
Right. But what is the video? Can we see the video again?
There it is.
Let me see it again. Oh, see, stop. Hold on. This has been, now I remember. This has been debunked.
It has?
You know who debunked it? What's his face? Mick West. Mick West from metabunk.com. What they did was they changed the perspective from 1x to 2x. So when you're looking at something zoomed in, things move faster. Your sight picture is much quicker. When you're at normal, your sight picture slower. So like as you zoom in, everything looks faster. Yeah. So when the thing moved out of frame so fast, it was because it had been zoomed in on, not because it took off at some insane rate of speed.
In other words, the pilot was just fucking with the government?
No, they didn't know any better. Whoever released the video didn't look at it. These Metabunk guys looked at the video, and you can see all the numbers on the screen. Right. When you look at the video, you see like what his perspective is, so X1, funny. X2, and he points out that look here, it goes to X2, and then it just moves out of frame. It's not even that it took off.
You're snapping in on it.
You're looking at it from a totally different perspective. Yeah. Now you're looking at it from a zoomed-in perspective.
That's interesting.
Yeah, see if you can find it.
That's so disappointing.
I found his written
It's got a bunch of pictures.
My dream was that it was going to be aliens, and their goal was they needed plastic.
He's got a bunch of photos in it. See if you can find the photos. He points them out.
That's what I was hoping. They were going to go like, our planet needs plastic. Do you have any? We'd be like, we have like so much. Yeah, in the ocean. You can just take it all. And then they just cleaned it all up and things got better. Like they went to the Pacific garbage patch and just were like, and then they left. Yeah. The Pacific garbage patch keeps me up at night.
There's a kid who's got a solution to that. Like a young man who figured out a solution. God damn it! I'm supposed to be in contact with that fellow.
Now I'd be curious to know what that solution is.
Some sort of a machine that like skims the ocean for plastic, and it collects all the plastic.
Huh?
Yeah, and I don't know what it's powered by. I want to say it's a solar powered thing. That was the concept behind it.
Like a Roomba.
Dutch students' giant ocean cleanup machine is going into production.
Wow.
Inventor says the technology will solve the marine plastic crisis. But some scientists are skeptical, as they should be. There are scientists. Boyan Slot.
Look at how much it's growing.
That's right. I was connected to him through
How much
email.
it's growing by?
Let me write it down.
8 million tons a year.
That's insane. How do you spell his last name?
SLAT.
Plastic is growing.
Yeah, well,
8 million.
We
tons
never
a
thought
year.
about. We thought once we throw it away, it's thrown away. They've got it. No, shit falls off. There's fucking dumps. They leave it sitting there.
Yeah,
Birds fly to the dump. They pick it up. They fly away with it. They don't know what it is.
The craziest thing is how like the ocean currents all lead to one place.
Weird, right?
It's so weird.
It's weird that you could see it all swirling.
Yeah,
together.
and it's like the size of Texas. I think they said.
And they say it breaks down all of that particles or all the rather plastic into these weird little particles.
Yeah, and that's why they're pulling fish out with stomachs full of plastic.
Fish out with it, and more birds. Birds are dying, and they're feeding it to their kids, and they find babies in the nest that have these plastic caps filled in their stomach. It's really horrible.
Horrible.
Have you seen that?
There's the balloon.
To the stars.
Party balloon. That's what they saw.
Oh yeah. Is that really what they saw?
That's what this says.
Stop
it's on his website.
Well, it might be that.
You're saying they were tracking a party balloon in an F-16?
Is that what it's supposed to be saying?
Yeah, the explanation I had on the other website said that exactly what you were describing as I was reading it. Like the camera angles were off, and you can follow the angle with the clouds moving with the balloon.
Well, once you zoom in on something, that's what happens. I mean, if you've ever looked through a binocular, if you're trying to hold a binocular, the more powerful the binoculars are, the more like the picture at the end seems shaky.
Yeah, it's same as you zoom in on your phone. If we take a picture, same thing. It's like it's not an optical zoom; it's a digital zoom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the explanation for the bizarre behavior of that object. Apparently, it was just
so funny to me that it was a party balloon.
What's that, Jamie?
There's another one too that was like this was the day before he posted, which a second video similarly. I don't know if this was the one that everyone was talking about.
Dude, nobody wants UFOs to be more real than me.
That's why I was asking you about it.
Nobody. But I'm also I don't buy a lot of the thinking that goes behind these things because people just want to think that it's real. They want to think it's real so bad that they're not looking at it completely objectively. If it is real, we got to know for sure, and there's no way you know for sure this way. This just doesn't seem like we know for sure. This seems more like what he's saying is correct. If you see the perspective shift and you see the way the thing moves shift.
But this is what we were talking about earlier about like the government and conspiracy. Like that's a perfect example. The government's like, we have no idea what this is, and we're confirming it was a UFO. And then guys who aren't in the government are like, yeah, it's a fucking balloon, dude.
Jamie, scroll back down. What does it say there? This little animation. It says the flare around the much closer engines rotate independently of the rotation of the plane. What does that mean? I'm not sure I get this. I think we're halfway in the middle of this page.
Yeah,
That's part of the problem. They're explaining something in a long,
infrared.
drawn out. Yeah. See, there's a lot of these things that have been proven to be horseshit, and people see the video footage and they think, "Oh my God, it's a UFO." Oh no, it turns out it's a oil thing that's on fire in the distance. Like, there's a lot of weird things that you see in these like real blurry infrared scans of shit or whatever that is, night vision scans.
Yeah.
I want to see some real shit where you look at it and you go, okay.
Yeah, definitive
That's a
proof.
fucking UFO.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
But
Is that real? And if someone says that there's no way they're going to fake that, then I'm curious. But right now, I just think too many people want it to be real.
Yeah, but for
so
the Pentagon,
bad.
the Pentagon sat on that for like 10 years and then released it. And no one in the Pentagon figured it out until like it got out into the private sector online, and somebody's like, yeah, it's a balloon, and you zoomed in on it, you fucking idiots. Look, it says 2x. That's my point about government conspiracies. I'm like, yeah, it just seems like incompetence to me.
It could be.
Like, nobody looked at that closer.
But
they were
that's
like, it's a
just the
UFO
people-
we've known for 10 years.
But that's just the people that were responsible for that were incompetent.
Sure.
I mean, do you think that you would give the fucking UFO searching job to anyone you wanted to do real shit? The UFO searching job is a job you give to your friend's cousin.
That's fair.
You get him a job at the
That's
CIA.
fair. That's
like, listen,
fair.
bro.
Yeah, they're like,
you are
yeah.
going to be involved in a top secret operation. Huh? What do
Hey,
we got?
Wachowski, get in here. We got a job for you.
are going to be searching for UFOs. What do you know? What do you
Jeepers
know?
creepers, boss.
Well, we're going to rely on you. You've been carefully selected.
Remember
And they send
spies-
this
remember spies like
fucking
us?
stupid dude to interview people in their farms and shit that are all high on moonshine and crystal meth.
No, I saw it. I saw it. It was lit up like a goddamn candle.
For the aliens,
What do you think? If you had a bet, if you had $100, your last $100.
it's hard. If I had $100 and we were gonna find out, I'd say I'm leaning more toward yes than no.
I'm leaning more towards yes too.
I wasn't leaning before that interview. I wasn't though.
I wasn't before the documentary, that Jeremy Corbell documentary, Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was like, mostly bullshit.
Is that one available? Like
Netflix. Yeah,
Okay.
it's great.
Yeah, I'll check that
There's
out.
a lot of old Bob Lazar shit too, from the George Knapp interviews where he goes over the details of the craft and he describes it and explains it, and that motherfucker knew about Element 115 in the 1990s.
That's one of the big ones that gets me. That's one of the big ones that's like, that's a big red flag that this dude's real.
There's a lot. Who knows? But there's a lot that makes me go,
I know you talk about this all the time, but I so fucking wish Sasquatch was real. I do, man. Every time I'm in Oregon or in Washington, I'm walking around. I buy all the little like roadside trinkets and shit. I love that shit. I wish he was fucking real, man.
It would be nice, but I think we would have found a dead one.
You would have. That's one of the ones I'm like 90% sure. You always got to give room. You always got to give room for the possibility.
The thing is, when people really believe and then go looking for it, they invest so much time in it, they start going crazy.
Yeah.
Like Survivor Man, Les Stroud.
Yes.
He's gone.
Gone.
He's gone. He's out there in the woods.
Yeah.
He's got a pup tent waiting for Bigfoot to knock on the fucking zippers.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. He's 100% believer now.
Yeah.
And he does that Survivor Man Bigfoot show where he's like, what, I heard a branch snap. Cut the commercial.
That's definitely a Squatch.
Yeah. Those shows are weird, man, because those shows have been on TV, like Surviving Bigfoot. Or Finding Bigfoot, rather. So Finding Bigfoot was on TV for 8 fucking years. They never found shit.
No.
Like, how the fuck do you keep renewing that show?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to breathe underwater. The show's called Breathing Underwater. Can you breathe underwater? Not yet.
Tune in next week.
Next season, though, we're going to try again to breathe underwater.
We'll figure this shit out, y'all. Just give us an off season. We'll get this.
I'm talking to these scientists. They're saying no one can breathe underwater. Not yet.
They don't know shit.
Trust me.
Honestly, South Louisiana, we got a guy. He breathes underwater.
If there was a Bigfoot, no one would be happier than me.
Dude, I'd be right there, though. I'd be so fucking stoked.
Imagine seeing it in a cage.
Yeah.
Just fucking trying to get out, looking around at people.
No, not cage, though. I want to see it like in
the forest?
Pick of Destiny, like the mushroom strip where he's like walking and singing with him.
Oh,
and Jack
right.
Black's Pick of Destiny. Pick of Destiny.
I would want to be there. I wouldn't want to see it with my own eyes.
For
a
sure.
video, I'd be like, man, I saw 80-foot tall Donald Trump with a Hillary Clinton head powering it, walking through a post-apocalyptic Philadelphia. You can't prove to me that video is real.
I need to see it.
I would shit my pants. I don't know what I would say though. If I was in the woods and I was camping and I saw a fucking 9-foot tall gorilla, I don't know what I would say.
You wouldn't. I mean, if you came back,
keep my mouth shut.
You'd probably have to.
Yeah, because you feel so stupid.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, say there is one out there. There's a lot of bullshit artists out there telling you they saw some shit. You know, a lot of people trying to get some camera time.
There can't be one though. If it's going to be a real thing, a living thing, there has to be a living family. Population of them. Yeah, because primates don't live that long. Like, I don't think there's a primate that lives any older than humans.
Yeah. We're just way into the weeds. We know it doesn't exist.
Most likely it doesn't exist. Yeah, as they get better and better at like using drones and scanning the forests and stuff, it's getting less and less likely.
Yeah. I used to do that as a kid, though, like walk out in the woods and like look and hope he was around, you know?
Yeah.
And when I was living in Oregon, I was like, Hell's Canyon is probably one of the least explored parts of Oregon. If he was anywhere, he'd be up there, you know?
Well, there's some dense-ass thick forests in the Pacific Northwest, which is one of the reasons why I think it's so attractive.
Yeah.
Because like you think, like, man, anything could be in here. No one knows.
Right.
Like, you go outside of Philadelphia, or, Seattle, when you go into, what is it? What's the mountain out there? What's the St. Helens? St. Helens is the one that blew, but there's another one that anyway. Those big ass mountains filled with soup. The trees are so dense it's like a box of Q-tips.
Yeah,
just one after the other, bang, 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 and the forest floor is all pine needles, so that nothing would leave a footprint.
Right.
And then you're like, what? If you saw something 30 yards away, it could disappear instantly. Left, right, you wouldn't know where the fuck it is. You'd never find it. And it could be out there. So I think that also leads to this delusional idea that it might be alive.